This is the 79th verse of Surah Al-Hajj, which is chapter number 22. It's here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وجاهدوا في الله حق جهاده واجتباكم وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج ملة أبيكم إبراهيم وسماكم المسلمين من قبل وفي هذا ليكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واعتصموا بالله هو مولاكم ونعم المولى ونعم النصير.
Rasool, could you kindly enlighten us about the difference between Shahadah Rasool and Shahadah Annas?
He wants to know the difference between Shahadah Rasool and the Shahadah, the witness of people, Annas.
This Shahadah can have many different meanings. One of the meanings is to stand guard over their behavior and their conduct. And the other is to witness for somebody's actions and deeds. If somebody is evil, one would stand witness to his evil. If somebody is good, one can stand witness to his goodness. Right? In case of Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Shaheedan, पढ़ने आयत पूरी तरह से
لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ.
अलैकुम से मुराद नबी है ना?
مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَسَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَفِي هَذَا لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ.
The point is, who is addressed here? As I understand, this verse addresses the prophets. And the prophets have this quality of being responsible for the deeds, the views, etc. of the people while they live. They will not let them go astray. The meaning of this verse can be understood with reference to Hazrat Isa alayhi salam's answer to God. Kuntu alayhim shahidam ma dumtu fihim falamma tawaffaytani kunta anta raqib alayhim. That shows that shaheed here is applicable to all the prophets of Allah, and each prophet is shaheed. That is, he watches his people, he sees to it that their views are on the right path, their beliefs are correct, and they do not invent new religions or sects while the Prophet lives. So this is shaheed. But when he is not there, he can't be shaheed. Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in that respect, as mentioned in the verse, is shaheedan ala haulai, over all the prophets of Allah. But we know that he did not share their times. Their ages were different. How could he be shaheed over all the prophets of Allah? This can be understood only in the sense that the teachings of all those who claim to be prophets, when applied to the touchstone of Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's teaching, if they are proved to be right, if they are in accordance with the teachings of the Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah, then they are right. And the prophets will be all right. If they are against the teachings of Muhammad Rasulullah, then those prophets could not be right. So in that way, Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be shaheedan over all the prophets of God. And this also is the meaning of Khatam al-Nabiyyin. Because a Khatam is the one who says, yes, you're right, and no, you're wrong. So that imprint of his mohr, of his Khatam, over the teachings of all the true prophets, is a sign that these prophets were from God. And the second meaning is that when whenever a teaching of a prophet is interpolated by man and changed, while Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam was teaching, that is the Quran, and those of Sahih Hadith which are not changed, if that teaching is applied to this, the Quran and the true Hadith, one can judge from that application which of the teachings of old prophets were right and which were wrong. So in that way he stands witness to the teachings, that this part tallies with the Quran, this has to be right. This part is against the Quran, so it has to be wrong. The proof that this claim is correct lies in the fact that whenever you compare the old teachings of any prophet with that of the Quran and the sayings of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the absurdities which we know to be scientifically wrong and rationally wrong, when applied to the teaching of the Quran, they fall, they drop, they stand no witness in their favor. And they are falsified because the Quran either rejects them or does not mention them at all. So they have no supporter in their favor. But whenever the Quran Kareem mentions those teachings which are also the teachings of other prophets, they have to be right. And your rational appraisal of these teachings will tell you that they are right. So in that way, all the books of the old prophets can be testified by applying their teachings to the teachings of the Quran. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam stands out among all prophets as the witness whose testimony would either pass the teaching of a prophet or fail the teaching of a so-called prophet. Got it? The second implication of this verse is that we consider Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be shaheed ala ummah, and Hazur's ummah to be shaheed over all other ummahs. This is the apparent meaning, but how could he be shaheed over the ummah while he is not there? The same question will arise again. How could he be shaheed over the prophets if he is a shaheed over prophet? Because the same thing is said in another verse, that he is shaheeden over all the prophets. So that is why I applied this meaning to this verse as well. The question again arises as to how could Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam be shaheed over an ummah which continues to move away from him in time, and he is not all the time present. This verse is misinterpreted by some of the Muslim sects who in fact transgress against the unity of God by making Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam appear as if he is present all the time, watching his ummah wherever they are. So this verse is very important from this respect. That is why once in my sermon of Friday, I addressed only on this verse. There are some sects like Barelvis and many others who believe Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is shaheed, and shaheed can only be the person who becomes present everywhere, and he watches. Some Shia scholars have also supported this view, and they do not only make Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shaheed, but also Hazrat Ali radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu as shaheed over all the ummah. And their Aimma also are attribute the same powers which are only possessed by God, are being present everywhere. So I don't know whether you intentionally chose this verse or it so happened that this is a very important verse which has to be discussed in detail. The first meaning is clear. I made it clear that the Quran speaks of Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as Shaheed over all the prophets. If this verse is also taken to mean that, then it's all clear what I've made. It's all clear, I think, after what I have spoken on this verse. But now I'm thinking of this second meaning. How could Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam be Shaheed over the Ummah? He cannot be Shaheed over the Ummah after his demise, like Jesus said to God, Ma dumtu fihim falamma tawaffaytani. The same principle will be applied to Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So either we have to return to his time and take our cue from him and his followers, or to translate this verse differently. The first meaning which I have referred to is that while Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived, while his people got their instruction directly from him, whatever he said in his lifetime, whatever was practiced during his lifetime under his eyes, that was true Islam. And that was Shahadah. Whatever people invented later on was wrong, because Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could not be called Shaheed over things which he did not watch. So things appeared after Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was not there. Those things were bid'ah and bidat and many other wrong interpretations of the Quran and hadith, and something having gone wrong with the belief of the people and the acts of the people. For that, Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not Shaheed. And the proof of that is that Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself informs us that while he will be by the side of Kausar, he will see some of his companions being driven away towards hell. Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would protest, sort of, and say, Ashabi, Ashabi. O angels, why are you driving them to hell? They are my Sahaba. Then the same answer will be given to him. As Jesus Christ said, Ma dumtu fihim kuntu alayhim shahidan ma dumtu fihim falamma tawaffaytani kuntu anta raqiba alayhim. Then he will understand that these people did not act according to the conduct of Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They did not believe according to the beliefs of Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the word Shahada here in this respect has to be precisely understood. Shahada is only in this respect over the people of his time, over the companions who repeatedly asked him questions and they were rightly guided. These are the people who become Shahadah over Nas. Because Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in another hadith likens his Sahaba to stars which appear after the sunset. Ashabi ka nujume be'ayyihumul ihtadaytum. Sahaba, those who are prepared by Rasulullah himself under his guidance, they are likened unto stars. Whichever star you will follow, they will guide you to the right path. because they were trained by Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there should not be any row over which Sahabi to follow. If you're a true Sahabi, you follow him, you're safe. So this is the meaning of the Ummah being shaheed over others. Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was shaheed over his people while he lived. They became shaheed over all the rest of the people who had learned from Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not the other Ummah as a whole. And there is a third possibility to which I will return after the translation, please. The third meaning of the same verse is a generalized statement regarding all the Muslims being shaheed or all the rest of the people. Because here the word Annas is used, I remember.
Yes. وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ.
يكونوا شهداء على الناس. This will mean that all the Ummah for all the times to come is shaheed over all the people. Now this meaning is very similar to the first meaning which I mentioned. And this similarity led me to believe that this verse applies in that sense, that Quran Kareem is a shaheed over all the books of the people. And the conduct of Holy Prophet Muhammad is the conduct which would judge the goodness or badness of all the people to come. So in this respect, Ummat Muhammadiyya is made responsible to watch over the beliefs and conducts of all the people of the world, and to tell them where they are wrong and tell them where they are right, with regards to the Quranic teachings and the practices of Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This means that their jihad, this is the jihad which is mentioned earlier. It applies to all the world. And the jihad is only that of spiritual character and views and beliefs, and it is not a jihad of war. It is not a jihad which is carried out with weapons. So this last bit clarifies the meaning of holy war as well. And this is the holy war which the Muslims have abandoned in general. They do not stand watch over other people's belief. They do not tell them that they are wrong, they should believe in this and not believe in that. Only then they could become shaheed al-nas or shuhada al-nas. Secondly, they don't tell them not to do bad things but to do good things. Like there are people who admonish, like the prophets of God who always admonish, not only to the believers but also to the society, that these are bad things, you must not do it. The prophets did not wait until the people believed in him to admonish them of their goodness of conduct. Even then they rejected them. They continued to preach them goodness. And read the Quran and that's what you will find. So it was a jihad made compulsory on all the Muslim Ummah to continue to preach not only the correct beliefs but also the correct deeds, good deeds, to all the people of the world. Had the Muslims paid attention to this verse, they themselves could not have gone wrong to a large degree, because a preacher has to watch his own practice. Nobody among the Muslims had a right or could have a right to tell others not to tell lies while he himself lied and all the Ummah lied, not to become corrupt while he himself became corrupt, not to cheat others while he himself cheated others. So if the Ummah is made shaheed, it automatically follows that this ummah is of good conduct. And it will remain shaheed as long as it is of good conduct. When it loses goodness of conduct, then it loses also the entitlement to the word shaheed.